sequence from 2012 where you'll see groin openers, hamstring stretches, standing poses, and inversions. One of the ways I've translated what I've learned from the Iyengars into intro and level 1 classes. So we begin with a meditative focus. It says Samputam Mudra, but it's all the fingertips are really touching here, not Namaste. So here White Wolf is doing Supta Baddha Konasana with the standard belt around the sacrum, over the top of the thigh and underneath the feet, except the variation here is that there's a block underneath the feet. So it creates a little bit more of like a Setu Bandha backbend action at the same time as it opens the groin. And you can see it gives a nice little puff to the chest. He's doing a good job there in showing how that works. All right, then we move on from there into the twisting pose, but this is a variation of really opening the hamstrings in a non-weight bearing way. Now you'll notice that the first time we do that the feet are together, and it's pravritta, so we're twisting and lifting up and rotating away from the leg, like the left arm is reaching for the outer right foot, got it? Then we go to the next variation, which is instead of having even feet, there's a block between the feet. So what does that do? That creates space in the lower abdominal area, and so we feel a difference. And now notice we're not grabbing the outer edge of the foot, we're grabbing the outer knee. So the spine is not leaning forward, but it's even straighter. And then the next variation you'll see is with a block between the thighs. And this time you see not only we're not grabbing the outer knee, we're grabbing the outer top thigh. And by rolling that in, it really narrows the pelvic rim, and that's one of the teachings, narrow the pelvic rim, widen the sacral joint. So it really gets the vertical action. You can see how straight the spine is, even though we're rotating. And then you move on from Pravritta Dandasana to Uttanasana. Here's a couple of variations of Uttanasana. In this first one, we're pushing the calf forward and then pulling the knees wide, widening the knees, because this is like a standing version of Paschimottanasana. So you got to widen the back of the knee, even though you're straightening the leg. And then the next variation, instead of pushing the calf forward, is pulling the knees out instead of pulling the knees in. And so now we're learning to work the back of the leg in a different way by squeezing the knees in and resisting out, or pushing the knees out and resisting in. All right, so even if you're stiff, like Tom is in this position, it doesn't matter, it gives you a good stretch for the hamstrings. So then we move on, and from there we make the transition to dog pose. Continue the leg work, but now adding the shoulders. Then we're doing this Ekapada variation, which starts to open the hip up a little bit, and if you push straight back through the raised leg heel, it also grounds the standing leg calf quite a bit. Then we do another variation by rotating the leg up, like we're doing almost Ardha Chandrasana. Here's Ruki doing a great job in keeping that leg extended, but also not letting her chest rotate, but keeping the chest down toward the floor. You can see in the back row there, Dorothy has her foot going behind the outside leg instead of keeping the heel in line with the sacrum and the perineum. And then some people need the help, so we support their heel and we give their hip a little twist. And they're showing it from one side and then the other, right? And that helps the person get nice length. And then some people bend the knee to get even more of a rotation if the hamstring is really tight. All right, then we go to Tadasana. And this little simple technique of having the block between the feet not only is just a spacer device to learn how to have the feet parallel, but once you squeeze into the block, all of a sudden you feel this ripple effect all the way up and down, all the way up and down. And then you realize, wow, I wasn't really working my legs as much. Tadasana is the prototype of the standing of all the system, and then you move to Trikonasana. Now this is a great variation using the low rope because you can pull on it, and therefore you can lift and lengthen your trunk up and out of the pelvis and really elongate, because unless you get your spine horizontal to the floor, there's no way that the top arm can be vertical, and therefore the arms in terms of the top arm to the bottom arm can't be vertical, and then it causes all kind of problems in your neck and shoulders. So you see the next variation, having learned how to do that and lengthen, yeah, and now you can see the difference in the arm work. But look at how the foot, let's go back here for a second. Look at how the foot was raised on a block. Can you see this on this first one? See, the foot is on a block back here. Isn't that interesting? That raises the height of the back leg inner thigh. It gives you a feeling of how much you have to lift it and push it, even when you're not using the wall rope. Still, you got the block, and then you try it one more time, pushing into the wall, but without that back foot on the block. So she's doing a good job here. Now, you've heard me say in many, many classes that Parshvakonasana is the second pose, like Trikonasana. Nice arm in the back there, Patty. See, she really has the diagonal Parshva quality. You can see how her arm is following the line of the top flank. And then here, look at the arms all in different positions. Rookie's doing a good job over here, but everybody else's arms not so good. All right, and then after standing poses, I often say you transit to head down positions. And in this case, it's a transition not only into a forward bending position, which calms the brain if there's too much will doing the standing poses, but also becomes a transition to inversions because your head is below your heart. So now you're really getting ready for upside down positions. All right. And then we move from Prasarita Padottanasana to Bharadvajasana, open up the twist, and here we're using the chair to take some pressure, and go back, take some pressure off of the legs, because normally Bharadvajasana is done on the floor with one leg like in a Virasana action, and the other leg in like a Sukhasana action. But here you can see you're using the chair to maintain the length in the spine. Remember one of my mantras, twisting is lifting. Now, if your back starts aching in some way, because when you twist, one knee goes forward, one knee goes back, then sometimes what we do is we add a block between the legs. And by doing so, this forces you to squeeze in and therefore narrow the pelvic ribs, widen the sacral joint. All right, now we're going into Ardha Sirsasana. So every now and then we just do this pose, walking in and seeing how vertical we can get the back. We're not even interested in going up. So she's almost there, right? You can see her hips are lagging a little bit behind, being in line with the shoulders. And then we do a challenging variation from that, which is Parshva. Just walk the legs to the side, and then you walk them to the other side. And then, of course, shoulder stand is the dynamic duo to headstand, just like Parshvakonasana and Trikonasana. And then here we're doing the chair version, which is giving the people a little bit more relaxation and an ease with which you can reverse gravity and give yourself that inner freshness, like taking a shower, an inner shower for your hormones and circulatory system. And then once you've done all that, it's basically time to relax. And so we got you on the floor, calves up on a chair, because it's easy to do that. But did you notice that they had any weight on the chair? No? I'm just relaxing. Okay, hope you enjoyed that.